Well, preseason continues on here as we get closer towards the FC26 release date. We've got a new best of batch once again coming into packs today. It is not all of the futties cards, but we have like 2 of the best teams of futties back into packs today that we know of for sure, which is nice. So we'll go and look at that. We have a couple of funny things from an EA interview to talk about today. There was a few websites that got interviews at Gamescom, and there's a couple of funny things that are in there that I kind of want to point out that you guys might find interesting. The FC26 icons, we now can see all of the ones that are coming in the pre-order pack. If you guys would like to buy coins, you can go to mmoxp.com. There will be a link in the description down below. They are the cheapest and the safest option. You can use my code JFC at checkout for an 8% discount. We got a lot to talk about. I will actually open for this video a couple of the 97 plus futties picks to try and get ourselves an Mbappe or Ronaldo, and then also these evolutions, guys. I think they're social experiments. What in the world are these evos now? And max 95 again, CDM this time. What do you guys think is happening here? Do they really just not want to release 96 evos, I guess? Would there just be too many good cards for us to get? I don't really know what the goal behind the max 95s are with stat caps. It makes no sense to me. And we've gone over this a lot by now. I don't know. This is one of those things, again, where it would be cool to have somebody at EA talk to us and tell us why we're getting these. Because then at least we could understand it. But like our last max 96 was how many days ago? It was a week ago, and it was 150,000 coins. Besides that, do we even have another one out right now? Okay, Picasso mode is max 96. That came out like 2 weeks ago or 12 days ago. So, okay, I don't know what to make of any of that. Why it is the way it is, I don't know. But okay, let's start off here with the preseason batch that's coming out into packs. So the best players in here from Futties Team 3 and 4, well, all of them will be in packs, but here are the best players that are going to be in the new best of re-release here. So a lot of big players: Rafinha, Hullet, Dembele, Cruyff, right? Ronaldo's back in packs, Bonmati, Son, Rodman back, Henri, Garrincha, Carlos Alberto, all these guys back in packs. Nice to have more cards in packs. They're like crazy valuable because there's not too many in there right now that aren't just in the Futties picks or in the icon picks that are in the SBC section. And there is no word on the other cards if we're going to have, you know, like we had 300 plus specials in packs right now. I don't know if those will change at all. All we know is right now Futties Team 3 and 4 are going to be, and I believe we do know, unfortunately, we can infer from this, is actually that the winners cards from like the Portugal Nations League win and also the women's Euro 99s, I think will probably be in the next batch, along with like all the Futties cards. That would be my guess. So we have to wait probably a week to actually get a lot more of those winners cards that we want to get. I think it also gives EA a way for them to drop more content, because they'll probably drop a layout SBC or something like that, maybe, or a player from there that's very valuable. But there are people upset about that, which rightfully so. We are a week away from September, basically, and we still are kind of gatekeeping some stuff in evos too. There are some strange decisions here, but it does get better. At least we get more valuable cards in packs this Friday. And in terms of the transfer SBCs here, we saw all 5 of these yesterday. If you missed them, then you can obviously see them right here. But the one we did not see right here is Ansu Fati. So Ansu Fati, Monaco, with rapid, low driven, finesse, and incisive. And yes, the top comment once again is, why are they gatekeeping 99s in August? You know, the Ekatike card basically 99, David basically 99, but I don't know. You know, it's true. It doesn't make a ton of sense, and it's kind of the same thing with some of the stuff in packs right now. It is, you know, it's just strange. But they got to release content from here until the end of the cycle somehow, I guess, right? Okay, here are the FC26 icons in the pre-order edition of the game. Now, once again, you actually don't have to pre-order to get these guys. If you want to get the EA Play Pro, you do get all of the pre-order benefits. So keep that in mind here, but it's really a lot of the new icons. We had almost all of them leaked, but a couple more in the bottom here. We got R9, Ibra, Henri. You're probably not getting these guys, okay? The 86s you're probably not getting. The 85s are down here. The 86s, though, are Cruz, Morgan, Iniesta, Henri, Zlatan, R9. You're probably not getting them, if we're being honest here. And some people, when they looked at these, you know, think that the icons go into their base version, basically. And Henri is a 91, which is his base version, but R9's only a 92. His base version is actually 94. So if I had to guess, not every one of these second cards here is representative of what their base icon is going to be ratings-wise. So keep that in mind as we look through here. But Steven Gerrard, Marcelo, Chiellini, Totti, Ali Khan. Actually, Khan's 86. Never mind. Khan and Seger are 86. But now we're getting to the guys you're going to get. So Ali Khan, Jones, CC, Seger, and Cha. Now we're really looking at the cards you're going to get here. Maybe Cha is a cool card. There was something going around, by the way, showing all of the new icons stats, and that is not confirmed. It was a prediction that was out like a couple months ago, and it like blew up on Reddit. I saw yesterday. People were like mad about the ratings and stats and stuff like that. It's the only card we have confirmed right now that we know what it looks like is Zlatan's card. That's this one right here, and even this is not confirmed yet. This was like 2 months months ago what his card currently looked like. So this could definitely change, and literally no other cards are confirmed for stats right now. So keep that in mind. And when it does get leaked, we'll obviously cover it on the channel. But okay, big flashbang warning in about 10 seconds because the interview with the website, it's bright white. So I'm going to warn you right now, don't get flashbanged. Yes, it is about that time to start doing advanced SBCs again. It is definitely one of the most fun times of the year. But all right, let's get on to this interview here. So Game Reactor got an interview of a couple of gameplay guys, and there's a couple of interesting things in here, a couple of funny things. But one thing that we have not heard yet is this, because most things in here we already knew about. It's kind of like going over what we've learned. But one thing we did not know was that they do say here that players will follow roles less. They do say that if they have like a really obvious run to make when it's wide open, they're going to make that more often. They say there's more flexibility for each player to make different runs. Before they were following the player rule, like extremely following it. Now they can, if there's open space, they will take it. They will make different runs. What we are hearing right now is that people want more attacking support. So as we speak, the team in Vancouver are working directly on the system to make sure you receive more support from your teammates off the ball, apparently. That was not something that they touched on, I don't think. They touched on the fact that players would get more roles now at the start of the game next year, but they didn't say that players would follow the roles maybe slightly less. That's a big change because they need that. And of course, this might mean nothing, right? But just, I don't know. The role stuff should be strictly tactics for me, and it shouldn't be anything to do with the card itself. And this next bit is honestly pretty hilarious. Now, of course, we're just reading an audio transcript from the interview. I'm not showing the whole interview. There could be some more hidden context in here, but this is pretty funny. So obviously they're going into right here, this whole paragraph is talking about how they really want to address you keeping the ball on tackles and interceptions, right? Like that's one of the biggest priorities for them in gameplay. We really want to reward the players. If you time your tackle well, you should get the ball back, right? Yes, I agree with that. It's not 100%, but we made huge improvements. That's something that's very noticeable the first time you play the game. So very noticeable the first time you play the game, they say. Whether it's a tackle or interception, you know, for the most part, you're going to keep the ball. And I think it's a huge change. And then down here, the interviewer asked, you know, you mentioned you're tweaking some things as we speak. You know, what's left to do right now as there's only a month left to launch? Kind of an interesting question, actually. Like, what's EA working on right now? Because what can they do a month before launch? And they say down here, first, a lot of the polishing. You can still find certain bugs, like for example tacklebacks. So okay, I understand, like they're trying to say, you know, still a few cases we need to fix, but is that not hilarious? Like one of the biggest gameplay selling points, maybe the biggest gameplay advertising point apart from like more responsiveness, is the tacklebacks. And they're like, what bugs you want to fix before launch? Tacklebacks? It's like, all right, well, how's it really going over there in Vancouver? I'm not so sure. There's still a few cases we need to fix, so we reduce it dramatically in terms of how often you don't get the ball back. Okay, and then also they say positioning is still being tweaked as well. Make sure we better respect where you are aiming. That kind of makes sense. We'll have a regular title update as well. Maybe I'm just being a big asshole, but that is kind of funny that they're like, yeah, tacklebacks, gotta fix those. It's like, isn't that what the selling point of defending is? And also, guys, there were some more beta codes being sent out over the last like 24 hours or so you can go check out your email if you got one of those. One of the biggest talking points over the last like couple days is about why does FC not do betas? Like, why is it always a closed beta? You know, Battlefield's beta was like a massive success. That's an EA game. Why is there no FC beta to test out some bugs and stuff like that, right? Because wouldn't that just be better to test out all those bugs in a beta? And that is true. Like, that would make a lot of sense. Now, Karazi says, like, maybe they're scared we won't like it. I think that what's probably more likely the outcome here is it's a yearly release game, and the beta does actually change more so than other games do, like before release, like COD or Battlefield, for example. The game's kind of done, and then they have the beta. So that's what this guy in the replies says here. And I think the reason they don't do it is just because they don't have time. Like, they just have to make a game every single year. And you might say, okay, well, COD's a yearly release game. They have a beta, but different studios do different years. So they have a longer development cycle than just a year. EA does not have that. So I think ideally they might even want to do this internally. They just don't have time because they can't make a product that they probably think is polished enough for a full-scale open beta that people are going to play a ton. They probably don't think it's good enough for that. They probably could do it maybe a couple weeks before the game comes out, but is that even worth it then at that point? I don't really know. In their eyes, they probably think no. So I think it's a good idea for them to do a beta. I just think they can't, honestly. I think, and let's be real here, they probably also don't want to have certain flaws be revealed to more people. Like, let's not kid ourselves and say that's not a factor in this. I think it probably is. The biggest factor, though, is just simply it's a yearly release game. They just don't have the time, is my guess. And last thing we'll discuss here is that there's celebrations actually removed from the game, apparently. The beta, I think, does not have these celebrations here. They do remove celebrations a lot. I'm not really really sure why exactly. If it's sort of there's not enough button combinations to add more new celebrations, like more relevant ones. Like, for example, the mannequin, right? It's been in the game since 2016 or whatever it was. So I don't know if that's actually the case there. But if you guys didn't know, the best celebration by far in the game is if you press L1 and R1 at the same time. It's by far my favorite celebration. But okay, let's read some of your comments now, and we are going to open our two futties picks. So I wanted to ask this. So Paul Scales is this comment here. At least in the beta, the gameplay is smoother and a lot better so far. I've been seeing like majority pretty positive stuff in the beta, but I have seen some comments where it's like I actually don't like it very much at all. I do think it's probably the most positive I've seen a beta be, but it's not like it's anything too crazy in terms of positivity. But the beta gameplay is usually a bit different actually than the release gameplay. But obviously there should be some pretty big changes that you notice in there. And if you guys have played it, like, let me know in the comments if you think still it's better, it's worse, it's the same, you know, let me know. We got Dow4 Deuce. They can do all they want with loading animations faster, but if they keep having 3 animations linked together to bring down the ball, control it, then turn, I've already got 3 defenders on me who have 0 animations to worry about, and my player is going to the hospital from getting obliterated while he finishes his 18th animation to get ready to finally pass the ball. So more animations does not seem like an improvement to me. Yeah, I do think that's probably the bigger thing is like just simply loading them faster. That's why I was curious about that second thing they said where it was like we can try and like relay information to the server quicker. Is that like just pure inputs? Is that like every animation system that now it kind of like is a little more sped up in the communication talking to each other? I don't exactly know. But yeah, it is weird that, yeah, they can add in like faster animations and the load time can stay the same, and that does help. But does that really fix the core issue? No, I think they can't fix the core issue by a year's time. Like, it's not possible. They'd have to basically plan for FC28 to go, okay, from this point on, we have a team working on the FC28 gameplay and starting that from the ground up. Otherwise, you can't do it in a year. So I don't know if we will ever see a giant overhaul from the ground up. I don't know if we will, because they don't, for one, probably have to do that to make a shit ton of money, and 2, it's a lot of work if they did decide to do it. But yeah, more animations probably could help the issue. I think it can, but is it going to fix it? No, it's not at all. And we had iPhone Daily who had an upvoted comment here talking about like the problem is the servers, right? There's no other thing. It is the servers. And I do like agree that the servers are definitely a problem, but then the problem is, of course, you know, there's delay offline. So is that servers too? It could be, but you know, what's the reason for that? And yeah, you have weird hours of the day where sometimes gameplay feels better. Yeah, this is the problem with this, is the rabbit hole goes so deep that I think what actually is probably the case here is you have a server problem, of course, and you also have a fundamental like core physics problem that the game is not a physics-based game. It is an animation-based game, and that causes a lot of this delay too. So there's probably multiple reasons as to why we felt this. So I think that's a part of this, is that I'm sure the animations will probably help, you know, faster animations, whatever they did, they added more, probably going to help the problem, but this is not going to fix the issue completely. It can't. And this is one of the things, again, that people have said for a long time, oh, like maybe you're just not good enough, like a skill issue. If the servers are bad, the delay isn't really as bad as people say, whatever. And now we have EA coming out and telling us that, yeah, there's input delay. Like, we know that, we're trying to fix it. It's not in your head. And now maybe next year is the server problem, where there's like, yeah, we know the servers are bad. It's not in your head. Spitballing here, but you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see next year that, yeah, we get more server updates or whatever. Okay, let's open our futties picks here. I really just want to get Ronaldo, honestly. It's kind of like my main player I want to get. I got Messi already, luckily. But you got to appreciate our times with Messi and Ronaldo, because we never know when it's going to be the last FIFA with them in it, even though we know the next game is going to have them both in it. But you just never know, right? Nakata starts us off. Second one is Kohler. I've seen that face way too many times this last week. Koundé is our third one. And the fourth one is Jay Roberto, who looks like a cool card, but we got absolutely cooked here. We're gonna act like we did not, and move on swiftly to our second pick. There are no icons in here, right? So we can't get like Hullet or anybody like that. Kvaratskhelia, not really that great. Saliba, seen him a million times as well. We've got Trinity Rodman. Okay, that's actually a good card. I packed her already, unfortunately, but actually a good card to get. And our last one is Blaise Matuidi, who I also have already packed. So I guess we'll take Rodman. It would have been a pretty decent pull, but I guess that is that's that. Thank you all for being here and watching. I appreciate you all so much, and I love you all. So peace.